and viewer mail.
Well, if we had more viewers, we'd have more viewer mail, but I do have a question, and the question is, how much should you have in emergency savings? Now, you've heard this question a lot, and you've heard a lot of replies, and every pundit on television has a different answer. Some say 6 months, some want to be more conservative and say 8 months, and they have all these rules of thumb for you on how many months of income you need to have in a savings account, so it's liquid, you can get to it. I take a little different approach because I don't think you are a generic person. I think you're an individual. And since you're an individual, you need to have an individual plan that fits your own circumstances. Not only that, most of you, or a lot of you, can't have 8 months or 6 months of income just sitting there. I mean, that's a lot of money sitting there for most of you. So here's the way I approach it and the way you might want to think about it. You do need to have an emergency savings plan, but you need to define the emergency that you're saving for. And most people save for a loss of a job, but it could be for another emergency. Something could be different in your life. A health emergency,
car emergency.
Car emergencies, yeah. Car's going to break down. I'm going to need a car. What's my plan?
I need $2,000 to pay.
Car blows up, your engine goes down, whatever. These kinds of things you need to document ahead of time, so you have a plan. That's financial planning. So you think about what could go wrong and then what your idea of offsetting that is. When I was younger, my idea of offsetting my emergency savings was to go to my grandfather and borrow money. You were there, you remember that? He had a coffee can underneath the house, and as long as you repaid him, he would go down to the house, pull some money out of the coffee can, and loan it to you. And as long as you paid him back, it was all cool. So my grandfather's coffee can was my emergency savings plan.
I think there's a lot of people that have the family emergency plan.
The family emergency plan would be fine. I urge you to think about talking to them ahead of time and saying, you are my emergency plan, just so they're...
They might say no, though.
Well, then you know that they're going to say no. It's more important to know, it's more important to know than not to know.
That's true.
And it's more important to know ahead of time instead of thinking, oh, Mom will help me, and then you get there and Mom goes, well, I don't got no money for you. So you need to have your emergency plan ahead of time. So the takeaway here is it's your life. Your life is different than everyone else's. Come up with your own emergency plan, no matter how it is, and ignore rules of thumb. Rules of thumb are really dumb.